The storm has now arrived. This was taken on Wednesday. Yeah. Niagara Falls, just barely working. Hello guys, Stormboy13 here. Doing a special video today. This isn't primarily affecting the UK, but this pretty much goes out to North America. Most of America has been recently under a deep freeze. Basically, there's been like Arctic winds blowing in from an unusual direction. Even as south as Florida, they have been receiving. Tallahassee had even some snow been reported, and even in like central Florida, Orlando, where I've been on holiday last year, temperatures have been very close to freezing. So literally, it has been cold everywhere in near 51, 52 states in America. Main theme is, why so cold? The answer, climate change may be part of the answer. You may have heard it before, but you may not. So we're going to go through just a little bit about this. But there's also been, check out my recent video, the Ice Age video. We're really heading for an Ice Age? It could be something linked into that, despite global warming as well. Let me go through some basics. So, as bitter cold continues to grip much of North America and helps spawn the fierce storm along the east coast, the question arises, what's the influence of climate change? Some scientists studying the connection between climate change and cold spells, which occur when cold Arctic air, as I said, dips south, say that they may be related, but the importance of the relationship is not fully clear yet. The Arctic is not as cold as it used to be. The region is warming faster than any other, and studies suggest this warming is weakening the jet stream, which ordinarily acts like a giant lasso, carrying cold air around the pole. Could be that. There's a lot of agreement that the Arctic plays a role. It's just not known exactly how much, says Marlene Ketchmer, a researcher at the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research in Germany. It's a very complex system. The reason a direct connection between cold weather and global warming is still up for debate, scientists say, is that there are many other factors involved. Ocean temperatures in the tropics, soil moisture, snow cover, even the long-term natural variability of large ocean systems all can influence the jet stream. I think everyone would agree that potentially the warming Arctic could have impacts on lower latitudes, said Rick Tommen, Climate Services Manager with the Natural Weather Service in Fairbanks, Alaska, but the exact connection on the climate scale is an area of active research. So much of the Northern Hemisphere is cold this time of year. It's winter after all. Cold snaps have occurred throughout history, certainly long before insulation resulted in large emissions of greenhouse gases, and as with any single weather event, it's difficult to directly attribute the influence of climate change to a particular cold spell. But scientists have been puzzled by data that at first seems counterintuitive. Despite an undeniable overall year-round warming trend, winters in North America and Europe have trended cooler over the past quarter century. We're trying to understand these dynamic processes that leads to cold winters, Ms. Ketchmer said. She's the lead author of a study published last fall that looks at 4 decades of climate data and concluded that the jet stream, usually referred to as the polar vortex time of year, is weakening more frequently and staying weaker for longer periods of time. This allows cold air to escape the Arctic and move to lower latitudes, but the study focused on Europe and Russia. The changes is very persistent. Weak states actually contributed to the cold outbreaks in Eurasia. Mrs. Ketchmer said the bigger question is how this is related to climate change. Timo Wiemer, head of the Polar Meteorology and Climatology Group at the Finnish Meteorological Institute, has explained that warmer air in the Arctic reduces the temperature difference between and lower latitudes and weakens the polar vortex. When we have a weak temperature gradient between the Arctic and mid-latitudes, the result is weaker winds, he said. Ordinarily, the jet stream is straight, blowing from west to east. When it becomes weaker, Dr. Filmer said it can become wavy, and more like a big snake around the northern hemisphere. The weaker winds are more susceptible to disturbances, such as a zone of high pressure that can force colder air southwards. These blocking high pressure zones are often what creates a severe cold spell that lingers for several days or even weeks. The current cold snap had been in place for more than a week, and the cold down Wednesday was moving east and colliding with a mass of warmer air from the Atlantic Ocean. That created a storm known as a bomb cyclone, and some of you may have heard it before already, but in a bomb cyclone, the temperature difference between the two air masses leads to a steep and rapid, meteorologists often use the term explosive drop in atmospheric pressure. The air starts to move, and aided by the Earth's rotation, it begins to rotate. The swirling air can bring high winds and lots of precipitation, often in the form of snow. That could happen this time. Depending on the track of the storm, parts of the northeast we're expecting heavy snow, but one impact of the storm is even more clear. After it eventually moves off to the northern west, it shall draw even more cold polar air into the eastern half of the United States, continuing the big chill. So it's not going to get any warmer next week, I'm afraid. Not a huge amountly unsettled. That's all I got to tell you from today. So there you go. We may be in global warming, but there could be a thing about the temperature rises, confusing the jet stream, weakening at times, could potentially bring an even colder wind. So that's just a possible outcome, but scientists will keep studying on this. So, but it could be quite a cold winter, particularly in the northern hemisphere, with more snow to come. So that's all I got to tell you guys. I hope you found this video interesting. Please give it a like, comment and subscribe. There'll be a weather broadcast out on Sunday, and then every Wednesday next week onwards there'll be the weekly UK weather uploads. And also, as everyone wants to do any extreme UK weather events, global weather forecasting or weather vlogging for next week, just comment below. Be more than happy to do it for you. Give it a like, comment, subscribe, guys. If you're in North America, please stay warm and obviously stay safe. Take care. Storm's now out.